It is the college football, y'all, week one game of the week. The number one ranked Texas Longhorns traveling to Columbus, Ohio to face the number 3 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. 12 o'clock noon Eastern on Fox. This game is, last time I checked, projected to be in the upper 60-degree mark. Lower 70s. Sounds like football weather to me. It's a heck of a lot better than what we've had down here in the South. Ohio State favored by 1.5 points. That spread has hovered around 2.5, 1.5 all week. What are the stories for this game? If we're starting with Ohio State, it's the changing of the guard for the offensive and defensive position groups. Offensive coordinator Brian Hartline, who just got promoted from the wide receivers coach. He's been in the program for 8 seasons. He was also the co-offensive coordinator for a little bit of time. On the defensive side of the ball, Matt Patricia, who coached in the NFL. He was an assistant coach for the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. He was also the head coach for the Detroit Lions for a few seasons. So my question, whenever there's a change of coaches, Brian Hartline's been in the program, so maybe that doesn't apply as much. But my question is, how has Ohio State replaced these key starters? Great talent, either went to the NFL, graduated, whatever. Does that change of guard on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball hurt that any? No. They still had a top 5 recruiting class this season. And in the 20s, lower 20s to mid 20s on the transfer rankings. So this game is a rematch from the college football playoff semifinal from last season. The Cotton Bowl on January 10th, 2025. Actually, the last game that Texas played was that game. Ohio State, of course, won 28-14 and then went on to win the national championship. So, if we're talking about Ohio State, and I love quarterbacks, and we were talking about quarterbacks just a moment ago at the beginning of the show. Quarterback Julian Sayin. What does he have to do? You know, he's being handed the reins to this football team. It's a young quarterback. What does he have to do to be successful? Not just in this game, but for this season. He has to be able to spread the ball around. Everyone's talking about wide receiver Jeremiah Smith, who had 70 receptions, 1,224 yards, 14 touchdowns, averaging 17 yards per catch. That's insane. But there's other great talent out there. You got Carnell Tate, Brandon Enos Juniors, plenty of others. This school has been referred to as wide receiver U. Can they continue that? What's so good about this is Brian Hartline, deservingly so, he's been an incredible wide receivers coach. Obviously, this is going to be a more wide receiver focused team, more pass catching focused team. But on the other side of the ball for this game is Texas edge Colin Simmons, who is an absolute excellent pass rusher. Had a whole ton of quarterback hurry. Even if he doesn't sack you, he's going to rush you, he's going to hurry you, he's going to force you to throw the ball, force you to make mistakes. Ethan Burke is another one. These are tough guys, man, and they will come after Julian Sayin in this game. So there's going to be a focus on pass catchers. And I think, you know, they'll come up with unique ways to be efficient. You know, there's some uncertainty in the running back room. Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson are gone. And those were 2 incredibly important pieces of this Buckeyes football team. Because you can play 4D chess. Well, everybody is playing on a Dollar Tree chessboard. Ohio State's got 9 returning starters. That's 6 on offense and 3 on the defense. So compare that to Texas and star quarterback that is being way, way, way overhyped. And I say overhyped because he hasn't even played in that many games, is Arch Manning. He's been handed the reins of this Texas football program. He was recruited by Texas. He was recruited by everybody, quite frankly. He decides, okay, I'm going to wait my turn. I'm okay being a backup. I'm going to sit on the bench. And when it's my time, it's my time. People have said he didn't win the starting job over Quinn Ewers. That was Quinn Ewers' team. Everybody said, well, he couldn't even beat Quinn Ewers for the starting position. You don't understand the I don't even want to say politics, but just the way that things are run in a locker room. That was never going to happen. There was never going to be a quarterback battle where Arch Manning wins the starting position as long as Quinn Ewers is there. Because you've got Quinn Ewers, a guy that was there for, he was loyal to Texas. He had chances to transfer out and go to other places, but he didn't. He stuck with him. He stuck with Steve Sarkisian, and he was rewarded for that. And Arch Manning stayed in the background, got better, improved, took those mental reps and obviously those physical reps and just became more ingrained in that system. But here's the thing. Arch Manning does not have to be the greatest thing since the discovery of oil. And I said that because we're talking about Texas. And the oil money and all those things, you get it. I like to use this example. And this example is kind of overused, but we talk about Alabama. Alabama quarterbacks that won titles that were, quite frankly, average. Like average. Maybe even bad. More like game managers, but not elite, like put the team on your back kind of guys. I'm talking about like Greg McElroy, Blake Sims, Jake Coker, some guys like that. Mac Jones sometimes gets put in the list with those guys. But I thought he was a little bit better quarterback. I don't know. I don't know how his NFL career is going to end up shaping out. But, the funny thing about that is Steve Sarkisian was the offensive coordinator at Bama when Mac Jones was there. So that's a little nugget for you. Arch Manning just has to be average. He just has to be enough Texas year in and year out. Just like Alabama, for the most part, just like Georgia. They're always going to have a great team around them that it doesn't require, a Cam Newton type of performance to be successful. Texas is returning 41% of their offensive production. But let me tell you something. This little stat right here. In the Cotton Bowl, Texas averaged 2 yards per carry. That's awful. The O-line has 4 new starters, and how will they mesh? And how will they protect? And how will they, allow the run to get established? How will they allow the passing to get established? How will they be able to create a good pocket for Arch to step in? And speaking of that, I expect Arch to get a lot of yards on the ground. In this game, maybe. But this season as a whole, I think Sark's going to be strategic about it, though. Like, you don't want to overuse his legs. You don't want to do a lot of things that you don't want to show everybody too much because people begin to expect things. Yes, he's fast. He's an extremely fast quarterback. I think a lot of his advantages on the ground, a lot of his yards, a lot of his success isn't necessarily going to be design quarterback runs. It may be some RPO stuff, but I think a lot of it is going to come to he's able to sit in the pocket and some opening is going to come out of nowhere, or maybe he scrambles out either to either flat. That's how he's going to gain yards on pass plays. This is a pretty good matchup. And I say that, and this could be a terrible game. It could be a low-scoring game. It could be an extremely high-scoring game. But it just as I weigh all these things that I've mentioned, it's a lot of this and that. It's a lot of balancing and the pendulum swinging one way or the other. Ohio State, like I said at the beginning, is favored by 1.5 points. Drum roll, please. I'm picking Texas. That's not me being an SEC homer. I just think they have the ability. I think they're going to have enough, even if Arch Manning isn't just outstanding, even if he turns the ball over a time or two. I think Texas has just enough to win. I think there are obviously a lot of questions on either team. But I'm picking this to be like a 27-17 game. And that's tough. That's a tough one, but that's it. 27-17, Texas wins. And they, one step further to the college football playoff. The road is tougher for Ohio State, but they still make it. They still make it to the Big Ten championship game. That's my predictions.